Ever since 2021, series have no longer existed within the car's main lines. Now, what do I mean by that exactly? Well, from 2013 to 2020, with the exception of 2017, because everything was Cars 3 and nothing else, all the cars within the mainline, which includes singles, 2-packs, and deluxes, had a little blurb in the top left corner indicating a series that it belonged to. And so basically, you have your mainline, about 120 cars in that mainline, broken up between singles, 2-packs, and deluxes, and then all of those belong to about 12 different series, and those series could have been Paris, London Chase, Radiator Springs, Piston Cup fans, World Grand Prix fans, etc., etc. Airport, for example, the Tokyo Airport. And so it was kind of cool because if you knew like Security Guard Finn was coming out, then you'd probably get some other airport-related characters. And while they don't do that explicitly anymore, it seems like they kind of do it implicitly. What I mean by that? Well, over the last few years, we've still noticed cars somewhat being categorized just in an unspoken, unidentified way. I mean, this year you have Pit Crew Sarge here. What else have we got in Pit Crew related? Well, we got My Name's Not Chuck, the Rust-eze pity, and even though they don't appear together, very much so related. You have Lightning Ramon, who appears right next to Pit Crew Sarge. You have Flo with Trey, appears right next to Pit Crew Sarge. You have Mater with Sign, appears right next to Pit Crew Sarge. And so you can kind of put the pieces together, what they were doing. We've seen this in the past when they do a bunch of rusty cars from the tent scene, and they seem to kind of keep that series around every year. But there is a rhyme or reason, I'd say, to a lot of the stuff they release, and yet then you can kind of tell why they don't do series anymore, so they don't pin themselves, they don't basically pigeonhole themselves into doing a certain amount or a certain variety of cars. They can do Nikki B, for example, or Jonathan Gearson that really has no bearing on anything whatsoever. Although I would argue Jonathan Gearson kind of fits into just a Cars on the Road series by itself. But anyways, kind of irrelevant. I just wanted to talk about that. This is going to be a heavy-duty Sarge video. I have a lot of Sarge variants. We have a prototype for Pit Crew Sarge. We have the new Race and Rescue Sarge with the fire extinguisher, who's trying to prove he's superior to this Pit Crew Sarge, who's basically his sire. I mean, we all know that this is what spawned this. It's a derivative of this. But anyways, we'll talk about that later. Pit Crew Sarge, new Thailand variant for 2025, debuting in Case R. Has since returned in a couple cases, and so therefore not a super rare release, especially also because he was included in the Walmart half version of Case R. So if you couldn't find him at Target, hey, you can go over to Walmart and have a chance of finding him from Case R too. When, if you're at Target looking for Kyandee out of Case R, you go over to Walmart, you could find a perfectly sealed Case R. Maybe 2, maybe 3. Kyandee will never be in that case because Kyandee was not in the half case, nor was Chris Freightman, nor was JW. All other Case R cars that were excluded from the Walmart half version of the case. Pit Crew Sarge here was included. In fact, this very one I'm holding is one that I found at a Walmart buried in the bottom of a dump bin of Hot Wheels, so not sure how it got there. We have to also take notice they renamed Pit Crew member Sarge to just Pit Crew Sarge this year. Kind of a tough cookie for me to swallow, but whatever. Kind of nostalgic from 2010 Final Lap Collection when he debuted. He has received a release since then, but yeah, this is the first time he's not been called full-on Pit Crew member Sarge. He's not a member of the Pit Crew anymore. He's just gently associated with it, I guess. There you have Lightning McQueen with the sign that also kind of fits into the, Rust-eze tent series. So they kind of still do series, guys. That's my point. Floyd Mulvihill, Chuck Armstrong, they are Piston Cup theme. Hydraulic Ramon could be your Radiator Springs theme for sure. And yeah, Jonathan Wrenchworth's down the pits. Those are other cars that I will be reviewing or already have reviewed from Thailand. I'm going to be honest, I really don't know when I'm going to post this video because I don't want it to come out too closely with my video on this guy, which will obviously be out very, long ago, June. So this is probably at least 2 months after that video. But we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. I'm recording them back to back. Just full transparency for you guys. Let's unbox this guy. You guys don't care about that stuff. All right, here is Pit Crew Sarge. Feels weird abbreviating it to that. All opened up, looking good. There he is in Cars 1, giving McQueen a little extra juice as he comes in. Very happily to see the Radiator Springs gang has followed him to the Los Angeles International Speedway. Pretty heartfelt moment. But yeah, this was always kind of wild to me, you know, that the gas is injected into the back. Didn't someone tell me like that's because it could be injected directly into the fuel line? I don't know. Someone please explain to me in the comments the whole fuel gas cap situation in the back, because they also have it here on the side as well that McQueen, you know, obviously uses at Flo's VA Cafe. Anyways, before we get into it, I just want to show you guys this really cool prototype I got recently from, I think his name's Cars Collector 06. That's the eBay name. I know he goes by multiple names across social media platforms, but you know who you are. Thank you for helping me obtain this awesome prototype. It is for this release exactly, the Thailand variant of Pit Crew member. Yeah, I'm just going to call him the full Pit Crew member Sarge. I don't care. Mattel abbreviated it so they had less to translate on the card. I understand. But yes, you can see here all the different colors, all the different parts that go into making Sarge here. And yeah, there's not a whole lot of die-cast metal on this guy. This is, you know, raw metal up here. But besides that, this eye plate here, the hood, the sides, the tires, obviously all plastic. So Sarge, you know, he does have this part up here. Beyond that, though, a lot of plastic. You have this nice pale orange here. You have the white for the eyes, kind of like a beigeish cream. Actually, each tire is a little bit different. This one's more white. That one's more of a cream. This one's very pure, like Snow White here. This other one's a little tainted. The Pit Crew box here, the fuel can, whatever, is still red, but the nozzle is not painted silver or gray. So that still has some work yet to be done. I do like the bare metal here. Not all prototypes have features like that, so that's cool to see. And then on the back, the latches, the semicircle hook type things, the openings there are kind of like sawed off. So you could see kind of where they were broken off of, where the, you know, fresh white plastic is there, because that's what happens when you snap the pale orange, I guess. That's what it ends up looking like. So that's interesting to see. And nothing on the base, nada. Whereas the final product gets a lot stamped here on the base. The product code up here, made in Thailand, Mattel, their headquarter address in the Netherlands, copyright Disney Pixar, and T50A means he was produced during the 50th week of 2024 at the A Factory. So yeah, he was made a while ago. Probably should have reviewed him a while ago, but with the Race and Rescue version, kind of wanted to space things out. You can only have so much Sarge in such little time, which I am getting a heavy dosage of him right now, recording both of these reviews within the same hour. Yeah, so my dosage of Sarge, I'm going to be filled up on Sarge. Very full, very filled on Sarge here momentarily, if I'm not already. But let's dive in here. This is a Thailand versus China comparison. That's exactly what we're going to do. 2010 versus 2025. What has the last 15 years done to our boy, PCMS? This guy was made on the 295th day of 2009, which checks out because he was one of the early Final Lap singles, maybe the second, third, fourth case of 2010. Kind of when they really ramped everything up, I thought, in 2010. Like, the cases just kept getting better and better. You know, the first case, you had like Flo with Trey, you had Blowing Bubbles Mater, Polly Puddle Jumper, Skip Richter, Pit Crew Sarge here. And then eventually, by the end of the year, you're just getting bamboozled with J Limo, Duff Rex, Race Damage, Mood Springs, Coriander Wide Track, Derek Decals Dobbs, Swift Alternator, Human. I mean, the end of the year, it came in like a lamb and went out like a lion, as they say. It was awesome, right? they climaxed the heck out of it. They definitely, yeah, they got you kind of hooked, like with a cool release like Poly Puddle Jumper, and then they really just gave it to you by the end of the year. But yeah, this guy also got a lenticular release that I don't have. So the coloring changed quite a bit, and that is just true for China to Thailand of regular Sarge, not even just the pit crew member version here. A lot of a more orange, not even orange, I don't need, more of a green, tan, mud colored instead of this faded tan. It's a, yeah, army green. Like, that is the best way to describe the color of the vinyl canopy here. The only metal part of Sarge, as we learned, even though the Chinese version, this part, it was actually very different of the distribution of metal and plastic. So this roof part here is a separate piece, that's plastic. This part, all this here was die-cast metal, and I believe so was, I think this part, the eyes obviously are plastic, you can see the little squares, but there might have been a little bit more metal on the original version of Sarge here, but this roof here certainly wasn't. We know now that that is all die-cast metal, so they changed up the casting quite a bit. They also changed up the Army logo here on the side a little bit. Thailand version, more white. The stripes are a lot more compressed. The star, a little bit more spread out here, and it's black and yellow versus black and white. You have your 984673 text there on the side with the white star. That stayed pretty much the same, but you can definitely tell that it looks better on the die-cast metal hood versus the plastic hood. So I'm a little disappointed that, I didn't honestly come to fruition realizing that they had changed the distribution of metal and plastic so crazily, so drastically on Sarge from China to Thailand until today. And seeing that prototype and really letting it sink in. I've had that prototype for a while, but now I'm doing a deep dive. It's like, wow, yeah, they kind of did a 180 on what was die-cast and what was metal. All right, let's stay consistent. Thailand on the left, China on the right here. Tires look very similar, although you could tell a little grainier there on the hubcap, a little cleaner on the Chinese version. As to be expected. On the back here, again, major coloring differences on the canopy, the part that can be removed, made himself into a convertible if he wanted to. Don't need to see that. It's a gray area for the Cars universe. Convertibles, motorcycles, babies, just don't talk about it. All right, the Chinese version here. Unpainted wheel, never loved that, but that's just how Sarge rolls. Unpainted gas can, that's also how Sarge rolls all the way up until the race and rescue version. We'll talk about that here in a second. Same thing on the Thailand version. You have the red taillights there, and then you have your license plate, which is very clear on the Chinese version. Carburetor County 41 WW2 Veteran. You can read that very clearly. On the Thailand version, you can pretty much only just read the 41 WW2, and even that has like some white smudging in the center. You would not know that it says Carburetor County on the top and Veteran on the bottom had you not known that already. I would not have been able to make that out. I could have guessed, but it would have been a highly educated guess. All right. Good stuff. So yes, like I was saying, this gas cap, why do I keep calling it a gas cap? A fuel can, it's an extra fuel can, had never ever been painted properly with the silver and the black X here until the race and rescue version. That's crazy to me. It's not like, oh yeah, it's a Precision Series version. Precision Series version didn't even paint that part of them, even though they did paint the wheel there. Crazy. I'm very impressed with the race and rescue version in that regard, but yeah, also replaced the tire with the first aid kit. So yeah, some interesting changes all around. It's a pretty benign Thailand variant. If you like the coloring differences, then you'll probably like it. Everything else is just kind of like, the license plate's not great. The metal and the plastic got switched up. To me, though, not a ton of changes, which is why I didn't review this guy super early. Focus my efforts on other new variants that are quite a bit different, like the metallic Christina Wheeland from K-Sar, or Kyandee, or My Name's Not Shock, or Acer and Grem, both of which very, very different from their Chinese counterparts. Pit Crew Sarge, not really. But it is fun now. We have a lot of Sarges to commingle with here. You have your Race and Rescue version that came out after Pit Crew Sarge, but you may find both on the pegs at the same time, as Pit Crew Sarge has been included in multiple cases this year. And that's why I kind of felt like it was weird for them to do both of these in the same year. Like, just don't do Pit Crew Sarge, just do him later in like another year. Perfect 2026 Cars 1 20th anniversary release. But now you just have this redundancy. It kind of creates a conflict within buyers. Like, I feel like you don't want just your average consumer to be conflicted. Like, they want to know what they want, and they want to be able to, just make decisions easily, purchase decisions. By the way, I'm noticing now the Race and Rescue version also painted in as grill black. That's actually really cool. Something that they had not done before. Something that they also never did, even on the Precision Series version. So props to the Race and Rescue version again. But all right, if you see both of these in the store at the same time, the casual consumer is not going to buy both. Only the hardcore collectors are. Maybe the casual consumer already has the Pit Crew version as well. But if you spread them out over the course of a couple years, then maybe people forget, or they're like, they have the money. Because it's like, you go to the store, if you're a casual consumer, and you're like, all right, I'm going to get a car, maybe two. That's it. That's my budget. I'm not going to get two cars that are nearly identical to each other in the common consumer's eyes, which, yes, these cars very similar, right? I'm going to get my Race and Rescue Sarge, and let me grab Ryan Shields and call it a day. So that's why I don't know why they did these, but Mattel has shown that they don't really give a crap about that, as they previously had done Miles Axelrod with microphone and regular Miles Axelrod in the same year. Saw them on the pegs at the same time many times with the same exact artworks on the cards as well. No sense to me at all. You're putting consumers in conflict because they have to choose between one or the other. Whereas in the future, you could spread it out. They go to the store again 2 years down the road. They want to buy two cars again. And they're like, all right, I already have everything here. Well, I actually don't have that Pit Crew Sarge because it was so similar. I didn't buy it back in the day. But, well, now might as well get it. There's nothing else here at the time to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Maybe I just don't get it. Maybe I just don't get it, guys. But anyways, that is your Thailand variant of Pit Crew Sarge. Let me know in the comments below. Do you prefer the Thailand version or the Chinese version? And what is your favorite version of Sarge? We now have quite the Thailand repertoire of the Pit Crew Radiator Springs cast and crew. This year also gave us a Thailand variant of Lightning Ramon. We saw Mater with Sign last year. Here's your just basic Lightning McQueen as well. We had Flo with Trey come out this year. Although, was the Flo actually the Radiator Springs Flo with Trey? I need to look into that. I actually don't think it's the one with the Nitroade can on it. You know what would go crazy, though, is like so Pit Crew member Fillmore came out a couple years ago from Thailand. That was 2021. Yeah. I guess maybe Luigi and Guido, like a Pit Crew Guido, would be cool from Thailand now. Yeah. All right, guys. That's enough rambling. I'll see you guys next time for another video. Bye now.